Sam the Infect man.
Yep, that's
Uh,
me.
yeah, FenrusCloud. It's a brand new day. I think I may have said that with when I brought Larson on. But we're not talking about the shining city on the hill. We're talking about Phyrexia.
Yeah.
Uh, Tell me why Infect is well positioned now, and it has as it hasn't been necessarily in the last couple of years.
hmm Well, there is a lot to unpack because first of all, I think when you say it out loud, I think most people will probably not believe you, and I can see why, right? Because
We
if
thrive on that, though.
yeah, exactly, right. I'm definitely biased. Don't get me wrong. I realize I'm biased, right?
Yeah.
But I have switched decks in the past. I play some control decks these days as well, and I have been playing a lot of Magic since the bans. And I can tell you that for sure, Infect is back. And the main reason for this is that Infect has actually gotten a lot of upgrades, but they have just not been noticed because, well, there has been a deck Reanimator. I'm sure you've heard about it. And
No, no, I'm not familiar. Reanimator,
no,
what's
don't
that?
worry, don't worry. You won't have to anymore. Basically, Zach, do you remember when Legolas got printed?
I do, yeah.
Legolas's quick
I
reflexes.
actually played it. I think the week it came out at Eternal Weekend.
Nice, yeah. There was another card that came out alongside it, which was Troll of Khazad-dûm.
Yes.
Um, and that's basically it. I have tried playing Infect when Reanimator was still the best deck in the format, but unfortunately, that matchup was just unbeatable. Trust me, I've tried. I've literally
Yeah.
tried everything, playing 4 Endurance's main deck. It was still not enough because they could have just they can swap too easily towards an aggro build, and that's pretty much the summary of why Infect was just unplayable. If you can't beat the best deck in the format, that's just not a spot where you want to be. And if it's like 40-60%, sure, but it was like 20% win rate I had against the deck. It was
Ooh,
awful. It
yeah,
really
awful.
was. But I have been feeling like since we have gotten both Inbiggen, one of the best pump spells ever printed, and Legolas a quick reflex, which is just it's Infect's I win button. It's something that
Yeah.
we've never had before. It's ridiculous. Like you can just animate Inkmoth Necklace with itself, use some pump spells, and then your opponent is going to say sure whatever, and then you play Legolas and it's game over. Boom. But what are they going to do? Counter a random pump spell if they have removal spells in
Yeah.
hand? It's such an awkward position for the opponents to be in. But now that Reanimator finally is down to being a dedicated graveyard-based deck again, I have been playing a lot of Magic, and the deck is feeling really, really good. Especially with now we are seeing decks like Cloudpost coming back. We have Doomsday coming back. Show and Tell is coming back. Like these are all matchups that you're gonna crush them.
Yeah, nice
So
no blockers, dummies.
yeah, exactly. And that's a spot where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like Infect was a solid tier 2 deck ever since Legolas's Quick Reflexes got printed. But the fact that Reanimator was just so impossible to beat made it not a playable choice. But like I have my stats here because I've been playing since the ban a lot of leagues, and I currently have 63 games, which is I mean it's not an insane amount, but it's starting to get relevant percentages, right? And I
Yeah.
have currently 37 wins, 26 losses with the deck, which is 59% win rate. That's
I'll
very
take that.
respectable,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. But if you compare this like against the combo decks, like I've been against Doomsday like 6 times, 5 wins, 1 loss. That's Infect, right? That's how we know
Yeah.
it. But if I compare this like Delver, 8 plays against that deck, 4 wins, 4 losses, 50% win rate against Delver is fine. That's what it
That's where
usually
you
has
want to
been in
be.
the
That's
past.
where
Yeah,
that's where any meta wants to be. Is 50% win rate
exactly.
against Delver, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because that is, I expect it to be the best deck moving forward. And if you have 50% win against the best deck, then it comes down really towards skill,
Yeah.
which is, I love playing against Delver because it really is very skill intensive. I'm sure you've played that matchup as well in the past. It's lovely.
Played with and
Uh,
against it. Yeah, of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
exactly. It's
That's
really interesting games against that deck. So yeah, I think that's a very very quick summary of why I think Infect is back. I have made some changes to the list because I used to play 4 Legolas's Quick Reflexes in the main, but I've gone down to 2 and playing 2 spell pieces because also Chalice is back, and that's well, how can I put this mildly? It's not easy to
not
win
ideal,
once that
yeah.
card hits the table.
It is play aroundable because you have stuff like what's called and Biggin and Legolas quick reflexes and Berserk obviously get countered. And
Mhm.
and if you get to go first, you can get your Glistener Elf down first. But uh if you have, if chip in damage obviously works there, it doesn't completely put you out, and you have
No.
invigorate. Like,
Yep.
invigorate. That's the next
Invigorate. That would be cool.
the
+8
next.
+8 for free.
Yeah. But yeah, you have that to get around it a little bit. It's not the end of the game for you like it is with
Mm,
so many other decks, but it is very obnoxious, and it's one of those
yeah.
things you have to build your sideboard around knowing that that card
hmm
exists.
And I even built my main deck towards
Oh,
knowing that the deck exists. So playing towards Spell Pierce's main has really solved that problem a lot because like Spell Pierce right now is so good in the meta. It stops also stuff like Cutter. It also stops all the combo decks, all the
yeah.
artifacts flying around. So I've been in love with 2 Spell Pierces again in the deck. But in general, I mean, if you've ever wanted to pick up Infect again, I think now is the time to do so because, trust me, just the power level of Legolas's quick reflexes is just insane. You can do so many weird things
Yeah.
with the card, and it's people also don't know about it a lot. I've had a lot of readers because I actually just played a tournament this weekend, and I did go top 8 with the exact list that I played. And yeah, a lot of people were reading Legolas, and I had so many
Yeah.
situations where I just cast Legolas, and they are like, "Okay, in response, lightning bolt," and I'm like, "No, that's not how it works, my friend. I'm sorry,
No,
but
split
yeah,
second's
I think you
funny
just
like
did."
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
really is.
how about for the layman? We haven't had a real primer on Infect for a minute.
Yeah,
And people haven't seen it for a minute, right?
no, no,
So let's go over the deck.
sure.
Go over what what the deck looks like,
hmm
how it wins, why it's
hmm
so powerful, right?
A quick rundown.
Finding the right high-end cards for legacy, vintage, pre-modern, or old school Magic can be challenging. That's where friends 3-for-1 trading come in.
3-for-1 Trading is one of Europe's top Magic the Gathering retailers with an incredible selection of premium singles, sealed product, and even full sets, all available with free, fast, and secure worldwide shipping.
They add fresh inventory every Wednesday with weekly deals and discounts. So whether you're hunting for that elusive piece of power, a legacy staple, or something spicy for your collection, they've got you covered.
First high-end orders over $500 or €500, use the code EDFREE to get free worldwide shipping.
Check them out now at the number 3, the number 4, the number 1.gg/ED. That link takes you right to the shop and helps support the channel.
Huge thanks to 3-for-1 Trading for supporting the Legacy community. Now back to the show.
Nice.
Yes.
So this is my deck list. I'm just gonna run you through the motions, and I'm once I start talking, Zach, about Infect, feel free to interrupt me because I'm gonna go I'm gonna go off here.
Let him cook.
Exactly. So, Infect has always been a deck that plays a lot of one-offs, right? Or fun-offs in the way that you want to call this. But I tried to make a build that was as consistent as possible. I just want to find the cards when I need them. And you can see that right now, this list, it plays like 4 Brainstorms, 4 Ponders. Like, there's no more room for the fun of 1 Crop Rotation, 1 Pendelhaven, stuff like that. No, I'm just going to find what I need when I want it. So I'm playing 4 Brainstorm for Ponder, that's really stock. Then we have like the usual stuff, right? Basically, you win the game by dealing Infect damage, and when you have Infect, you only need to do 10 damage, and then you win the game because it's poison counters. So we play the best creatures that had Infect, which is Blighted Agent and, of course, Glistener Elf. And then we combine this with Noble Hierarch, which is like our mana dork, but the fact that it also has Exalted makes it really powerful because like that means attacking with a 1/1 suddenly becomes 2/2. That's really relevant when you only have to deal 10 damage.
Yeah.
Then we have a 4/4, 4 Daisies. That makes a lot of sense. I guess it's just what everyone does right now, especially if you're an aggro deck. And I've already discussed this for a moment. 2 Spell Pierces. This is a meta call. I have in the past played 4 Legolas's quick reflexes here, just to show you all 4 ofs and then 2 berserks. That's what I did in the past, but I swapped it around. Spell Pierce and Legolas kind of do the same thing, right? You want to protect your creatures. If there's a lot of combo, I like playing more Spell Pierces. If there's a lot of fair decks, I like playing more Legolases. That's basically it. The card that ties it all together is definitely Invigorate, because you can cast this for free if you have a forest, and it gives a creature +4/+4. However, the opponent does gain 3 life, which is kind of awful if you're just dealing regular damage.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to deal poison damage, that's perfect because we don't care about life totals at all. We do not use the life totals. And combine this with Berserk, like your combo is 1 green mana if you have ideally the perfect hand, because Invigorate's free, Berserk is 1 green mana. It's kind of ridiculous, the power level of that happening. Now, it is
and
a
it can
3
happen
card
as
combo.
early as turn 2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With Daze backup, potentially, or even just Daze and Legolas, you name it. The deck is very, very free, so that's why I like playing it. And this is a more recent edition, Inbiggen. I think it was printed in one of the unsets. I'm blanking on the name here. Infinity, exactly. Why is this such a big upgrade? Because Inbiggen gives on Glistener Elf and Bladder Agent +4/+4, which is just like what we want. You need your pump spells to be +4/+4.
Mhm.
However, on Inkmoth Nexus, it actually does +5/+5.
I was going to say, we haven't talked about Inkmoth Nexus yet.
No, right. And that +1 extra is really relevant, because if you invigorate Inbiggen on Nexus, that's 10, also lethal. And that happens a lot, and that's also just 1 green mana. So we have this combination where, in addition with the powerhouse that has been printed recently, Legolas' Quick Reflexes, this has split second, and that's what makes it so awesome, because players just can no longer respond to this. And it has so much text. I'm just going to read it for a lot of people probably don't know the card yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. 1 green, an instant, split second. And then it says, untap target creature. Until end of turn, it gains hexproof, reach, and whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature. This, if I would have been given the option to create a card for the deck, I would have probably not made this, because I thought it would be too powerful.
Yeah.
That's what I said when it got
I'll
printed.
throw reach on there too. Why not?
Yeah,
You know?
it does everything. It literally does. So what you can also do with this is, like, you can do combat tricks where you untap your creature. I've had situations, for example, against Delver, where I have a tapped Inkmoth Nexus, and I just animate it. I use the Legolas, invigorate it, and I block, and then I tap for mana so I can kill 2 creatures. But like, Infect has never had this before, where we had the option of playing a both protection spell and removal spell. So flexibility is always powerful, and the fact that it has split second is just amazing. It's so good.
I want to real quick bring back Inbiggen, and let people kind of bask over why Inbiggen is so good, because the +4/+4 to someone reading an Inkmoth Nexus or a Glistener Elf or a Blight Agent, they might not know that all of these gained the super type Phyrexian over the last like 2 years or 3 years or something like that. So now each one of these has what is it? Elf Rogue or Elf Warrior Phyrexian creature.
Yeah.
So there's your Glistener Elf, right? And same thing with Blight Agent. I think it's Rogue. But Inkmoth Nexus has land, artifact, creature, Phyrexian, and then there's one other thing, right?
Blinkmoth.
That's right. Yeah, Blinkmoth. So getting 5, but the important thing here is that errata that gives them that Phyrexian super type that adds that extra +1, which makes Inbiggen ultimately playable in this deck, but also it was the other pump spell we were looking for. I mean, we used to use cards like what was that one that gave Shroud, basically? It was like it wasn't even Shroud, it was like something else. Vines of Vastwood.
Vines of Vastwood, yeah. You could do some cool stuff.
Had its own tricks. Yeah.
But double green 4/4/4 is just not where you want to be in 2025.
Yeah.
We also play like one-off scale up, one become immense, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, scale up and become immense. Yeah. I remember playing with Vines of Vastwood in the mirror, and you could do things like make it so your opponent can't cast spells on their
that's so
creatures.
Cool.
Yeah.
But Legolas in the mirror, I've played the mirror once, and Legolas is just also in that matchup is really scary. Because like a situation where I had when I was playing the mirror is my opponent just has like Glistener Elf, right? And they invigorate Berserk. And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's 10. So I just use Legolas on my own Glistener Elf, and I just block their Glistener Elf. I'm still taking 9, but then the poison counter stays on. And they lost their creature, and I just won because I was slowly pitching in with my Inkmoth Nexus. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the card, and that's just another example of why I really like it.
In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call someone who's invested in your success. Nick Ropp, your Edward Jones financial advisor and certified financial planner, is here to help you. He will work to build a complete picture of your financial life, including your unique goals and passions, so he can help you achieve what's most important to you. Call Nick Ropp at 314-377-9524 or email nicholas.ropp@edwardjones.com to schedule an appointment today. That's 314-377-9524 or email nicholas.roupp@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones member, SIPC.
So let's talk about. So obviously we've got the sideboard here, but let's do like just a quick rundown of the decks we're almost assuredly going to see at Eternal Weekend, right? So is it Delver is currently the number one deck, which is in my opinion the sign of a very healthy format.
Yeah, I agree.
So obviously you're going to want to bring in Hydroblasts here. Probably 2 more Reflexes.
Yeah, and it's funny because
Right? You're an endurance guy in the Delver matchups, right?
Yeah, indeed. Endurance right now is just another one of those cards that just made for Infect because it allows you to have an alternative win condition, which is something that's difficult for us to have the way our deck is constructed, especially against like Delver decks. Endurance is important because it slows them down, it kills their creatures, it also prevents Murktide from resolving, and they will not be prepared, right? Because they just want to shoot off your creatures, which are very small, and if the endurance is in the battlefield, they need to use removal spells on the card because they can't win against it. But you still have your pump spells, right? So I have fought over a lot of endurances where I just use my pump spells to protect that card, and I don't even care about infect damage anymore. And it stops other things as well, like it stops Breakfast, it stops Doomsday. It has also the Reanimator decks. I have been facing Reanimator since the bans, but it has been feeling really okay again because now they are a dedicated graveyard hate or dedicated graveyard deck, and if you can endurance them once, you've probably won the game, which is where you want to be. But also stuff like Oops, it makes for, again, flexibility. That's key. I'm even thinking about going up to 4 because it just allows you to still play your game, and you will have a green card in this deck to pitch. No problem with this there.
Yeah, that's never a problem. Yeah, it's funny. Looking back, pre-2019 is when I really played a lot of this deck because I was, I was kind of still figuring out what I wanted to do after, in the wake of Deathrite Shaman being banned. I was a Rug Delver player, and I was just kind of looking for another, a tempo deck that I could have an I win button, which is what this often offers. But playing against Reanimator, I always felt pretty good, during that era. This is again pre-2019. People hadn't solved the Entomb shell, and I think part of that was the fact that there were not 2 creatures that you were like, these are the only 2 creatures that I want in the deck, know. So I always felt like Reanimator was a deck that I was like, well, I'm just a faster combo deck than Reanimator, or they've got a Grizzlebrand out. Okay, that's troubling, but like not the end of the world. I'm going to swing in. You could do some things to put them into situations. And back in the day, we played Pithing Needle. So if you just Pithing Needled a Grizzlebrand, it's like, okay, like now they have to worry about attacking me and tapping their Grizzlebrand, but they can't draw any cards with it.
That's true always for Infect. Like you are usually going to be favored against combo because the good part about Infect is that it's a very flexible deck. People always remember like Glistener Elf, Infected Berserk, you win the game, but that's not how very often these games go. It's more of I kind of describe Infect as where you have Delver that has a sort of a control-y game plan. Infect kind of does the same thing, but we swap the control-y game plan for the combo-oriented game plan. Like the removal spells that Delver has are the pump spells that we have. That's the best way how I can describe it. It's an aggro deck which can be very, very fast, but it can also just chip in for 2 or 1 damage each turn. It's fine. The same way that Delver can attack a couple of times with a 1/1, and then suddenly the creature flips and they bolt you 3 times and you're dead. That's kind of similar.
Somebody once told me the deck is you're the fun police, but also you're the fun police.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the power level is definitely there. And to go back to the Reanimator matchup, the scary thing about other combo decks is that what we can do is, since we have the flexibility of shifting towards, okay, I'm playing against the other combo deck, I can just try and slow them down a bit and win when I want to. They just have to go for it as soon as possible, right? Normally, combo decks have a bit of time, like against control decks or against Delver. They know that they have like 3 or 4 turns. They can choose the correct spots for them to try and go for it. But that's not going to work against Infect. If I start with Terminal Glistener Elf, you just have to go for it because I can just kill out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
But that's a luxury because that means they will not be able to set up ideally, and you can just attack for like 1 or 2 damage each turn. That's fine if you have control.
Yeah.
But you can also just Invigorate Berserk and win. So that's
Yeah.
generally why Infect is very favored against the combo-based decks. But of course, when Reanimator had the ability to also be an aggro deck that plays a lot of removal spells, that means it becomes difficult.
Yeah.
So if I look at the meta right now, if I'm just going to go through like the top 15 decks that are on MTG Goldfish, what are the decks that I would love to face if I was playing on Eternal Beacon, right? So I have Mystic Forge combo, easy. That's you win that
removal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and they have like, what's the name? The Kozilek's Command. That's a card you have to be wary of. But if they don't have Chalice, you should be in a good spot. Same for Blue Cloudpost. That's a deck that's flying around a lot right now. Same stuff. Eldrazi, same stuff. They don't play that much removal. Just keep Chalice on the table and you will probably win. Oops all spells. You are very favored, especially this list. I'm playing 3 Endurances. They need also 3 Veiler Summers too. Also a Consign in there. They really need to have the complete nuts in order to beat you. Now it's oops, that does happen, but I mean, if they have that, there's no single deck that could win from that. We are seeing an uptick of Sneak and Show. I want to play against that all the day. Doomsday as well. I like playing against the new Omnitel deck. Lands is very favored because they are slow. And then we have the, Painter. That's another matchup that has shifted more towards blue, which is better for us because Pyroblast is annoying. But the blue shell is, like, again, slower. So how many decks have already named like 10 decks that I would want to face every single time? What's the most challenging matchup? That's definitely the blue-black based aggro deck. Dimir Tempo. That's always true for Infect. You know, black.
They have the removal and you don't have time, right?
Exactly. Which is why I'm playing 3 Veiler Summers. That's a high respect for that. But again, there you can still squeeze out a win very often because Veiler Summer, the power of that card on its own, what I very often do is I just start the turn with Veiler Summer, and it's so awkward for the opponents because what are they going to do? They can't let it dissolve, right? Because that means you have protection from everything. So it's not impossible, but Dimir Tempo is by far the most difficult deck. Let's see. Let's check my stats. I've faced it 6 times now, and 2 wins, 4 losses. So yeah, definitely unfavored there. Yeah. But I'm feeling okay against Delver. Now, Red Stompy, that is a different monster. Yikes. Blood Moon and Chalice, it pretty much plays everything that you do not want to see. But even there, I've been feeling like this is why I'm playing blue-green Infect. I'm not playing Bant. We haven't talked about that, but it's interesting because I have played white cards in the sideboard in the past. I'm deciding not to do that right now. If I can, I really want to stay in 2 colors for consistency. And ever since I have the basic forest, I'm not feeling that unfavored against Red Stompy anymore. Like, best play you can do is turn 1, forest into noble, and play your Blood Moons. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, at that point,
also playing 2 Hydroblasts in the sideboard, of course, 2 Force Vigors. The matchup has been feeling better. I've also completely changed my sideboarding against that deck, where in the past I tried to bring in like 6 or 7 cards, and now I'm only bringing in the Hydroblast and the Forces, and that's it. And it's been working out. But don't get me wrong, it's not a matchup I want to see.
No one wants to see turn 1 mountain, into something else. You're like, oh no,
exactly.
Yeah.
In general, what we can conclude is that there's not a lot of Orcish Bowmasters flying around.
Yes, that's card great that's right scary. Now. Let's hope that stays that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's a scary card. But again, you can play around it, especially with Legolas and Veiler Summers. Yeah. So if I just look at the top 15 decks of the meta, I would want to face against everything except Red Stompy and Dimir Tempo. And Lone Pox, yeah, sure, that's also difficult. Mm-hmm. But that's 3 out of 15. I'm fine against control. That's like 50-50, a lot of skill intensity there. But Overall, they're like more decks that I want to see than I don't want to see, and
Yeah.
I think that's a healthy spot to be in.
One of the conundrums I'm in right now is figuring out. I was on breakfast, figuring out what I'm going to actually sleeve up for Eternal Weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously Infect is an option. Breakfast is still an option. How does this deck do against Breakfast?
Oh, very favored, especially since Nadu is no longer around. I've only played against it 3 times, but I am 3-0 against the deck because it's like what Breakfast tries to do is like it has a combo, but it's in its core it is a control deck.
Yeah.
And well, we have Legolas now, right? So Legolas is just if you have it against Breakfast, it's so good because you can also stop the combo from happening. Like in the first round of this weekend, I actually played against Breakfast. It was the new Stoneforge Breakfast build, and they had a combination where they had the Shuko and the Cephalid, and they equipped. So they were like already thinking that they won. But in response, what I did is I just animated Nexus, used Legolas, ping for mana, and then I just shoot the squid, and yeah, that's another flexibility issue. But they tapped out, right? So then I just killed them.
With
it is
with split second, remind me, it is spells or can they activate abilities? If there was a core out, would they be able to continue activating? I haven't read split second for a minute.
Split second says that when it's on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that are not mana abilities.
Yeah. So they can't even do it with Core Nomad as well.
Yeah, the thing is, what you can do is, if it's on the stack, but once it is off the stack, I still need to tap the Inkmoth Nexus for mana, so then they can start responding. So, but a lot of people don't know that. So it is. So, but just to be clear,
yeah.
But again, flexibility and like if I would give you the advice to ever try Infect at Eternal Weekend, it would probably be now because you will catch a lot of people off guard. People aren't expecting it.
My round one opponent of the North American Eternal Weekend was Infect, and they got me. I was on breakfast, and I was like, man, this is the one time where I just looked across the board, and I was like, yeah, I envy this person because it's just I mean, in my opinion, it's a much easier deck to play than Breakfast, and that's not a slight on this deck. I think this deck has tons of different lines you can choose. With Legolas's quick reflexes, there's a lot of intricacy to the deck. But at the end of the day, just knowing you're going into a 9-round tournament and being like, I'm going to turn these sideways and attack. Knowing that your plan is like, I'm doing this, right? There's no sneaky combo that your opponent, like hate card that your opponent can really play. No one's playing like
Plague Engineer.
Yeah, Plague Engineer, I suppose, and stuff, right? What's the card, I forget now, the card that like stops poison counters. No one's playing that. No one's playing Solemnity, like
no. Luckily that's too slow in these days.
Yeah, there's just no cards that like outright stop this deck, especially when you bring in the endurance as like a plan B. If you see something that like looks crazy, you're like, oh man, they're playing this. Okay, I'll just bring in endurance as like my B plan. And in the past, Triumph of St. Catherine when you were playing Bant was an option.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different builds that you can pull for this, but at the end of the day, they're all doing the same thing: putting a guy in play, turning it sideways, pumping it for the kill when need be, and otherwise just chipping in, just playing the Delver plan, protect the queen, as it were. Right? That's basically the name of the game here.
Exactly. So comparable to Delver, if you've played Delver and you want to play a different deck, try this out because it's very powerful and you have the free wins, right? Turn 1, Tropical into Elf with Invigorated Berserk in hand with Daze backup. It does happen. So you have, and for 1 green mana, the power level is there, right? There's not a lot of decks that can compete with 1 green mana for the ideal hand. Now it is unlikely, right? Because it is a 3-card combo, but it's not impossible. Especially when you're playing Brainstorm for Ponder.
1 or 2 times during a 9-round tournament, you're just going to be like, well, I mean, they mulled once. Do they have it? Let's find out. I also have a Daze backup or a Force backup. I'm going to go for it. And more often than not, your opponent's like, well, I tried to mull to stop this, but I just didn't get the card I needed, or they like tap out on their turn to play something, and you're like, great, I'm going in, They're like, Pithing Needle on Inkmoth Nexus, and you're like, well, I mean, you did see it, Listener Elf, so I'm attacking you.
Exactly. Another reason why it's very fun to play is the fear in the opponent's eyes. I do get that a lot, where it's very scary to play against, because like my hand could be just 5 lands, or I could have the combo with force backup in hand, and it's impossible for my opponent to know this.
Yeah.
So it is very. I think it is difficult to play well, because it is punishing, right? If you invigorate Berserk at the incorrect time and they fail to push your creature, you've just thrown away a couple of cards and completely your own fault. So that is the most difficult thing when playing Infect, is when do I go for this? But once you get the hang of this, it's really scary for the opponents, because when are they going to use their removal spells, right? They can't just fire it off immediately, but because what if you have Daze? What if you have Legolas? But if you do have Legolas, that there is no correct time to play the fail push, right? Or maybe you should try it right now, because if I do it in my turn, that's even worse. Like, these are all these decisions that make it so awkward and difficult for the opponents to play against the deck, and that is not something to forget about. It's really, really a thing, especially in these long tournaments, where people will make mistakes against you, because what's the last time, for everyone listening, what was the last time you played against Infect? Maybe even years. So if you are sitting against an Infect opponent, would you know how to play? Ideally, probably not, right? And that's where you want to be in these big tournaments. You want to have the unexpected wins from nowhere.
Sam, final question,
Yeah.
and I know the answer to this. Will you be sleeving up Infect at Eternal Weekend?
Well, yes. However, I am actually commentating Eternal Weekend this year, Europe.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if I was playing, I'm playing on Thursday. So yes, I will be sleeving up Infect there. But if I was playing Eternal Weekend, yes, 100%, because I've also been playing a lot of Band Control. I've also been playing Delver online, and it's silly, and maybe it's just because I've been playing Infect for so long, but I just feel like, out of all the decks that I've been playing, Infect has been feeling the strongest one out of all of them. So yeah, it would be my recommendation. And I hope if anyone is playing, come say hi, because I'm always looking for Infect players.
Awesome. Well, Sam, first off, congratulations on the commentating gig.
Thank you.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Neither.
It's gonna be so much fun. Eternal Weekend Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Phil and I leave, I think, Sunday night. So
nice.
Yeah, we're gonna do a whole week in Europe. But with that said, thank you so much for coming on and schooling us on Infect, and thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you on the flip.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye.
Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to this channel and do your part to help sustain the legacy content ecosystem. Just subscribing to this channel goes a long way to reminding YouTube that people love and support this format. Now, if you really want to go the extra mile, you should think about supporting us through Patreon. Both the links for subscription and Patreon are right here. And if you're listening on an audio format, you can go to patreon.com/eternaldurdles. Thanks so much for watching.